I've seen more men binge drink than I've seen cry, and that don't make sense. Retail at the bar, therapy from the bottom of a bottle until it shatters across someone's head, alcoholism hiding behind endless social events, hell-bent on descending into racial offense and the first definition of decadence. I've seen more men snort lines and admit to weakness, and that don't seem right. Black as night pupils like fuck discreetness, once a week peeking like duck and fearless, eyes rolling close to an OD that's a near miss, now down to business, get your phone out, better tweet this. And no surprises that their lives result in occasional casualties, popping pingers like their tic-tacs, like when did brand names become our analogies? And we wonder why class isn't in our vocabularies with posters outside schools fueling alcohol-filled adolescent capillary shore. You can lament that we are young, dumb, and excitable, but we're living in a society where sobriety is indictable and expression is weakness. I need a drink for about the third or fourth time this week, reeking of sugar pop benders and struggling to remember just so I don't need to think, forgetting I'm weak enough to have to see a shrink, forgetting about healing myself and having to blink back tears, fearing that I have to feel, kneeling before my porcelain altar and offering up my much-needed meal. I've seen more men cut themselves than I've seen get help, and I'm not sure I can take it anymore. Insatiable urges cures as long as it take 4 lines a day, whether sliced or raked, and don't think for a second you can make a complaint about your mental state. Grow some balls for fuck's sake. And since we were boys, crying evolved into something of shame. The older we got, the easier dying became. Our own hands take more lives than car accidents claim. Going insane on ecstasy, ketamine, cocaine. Repression putting pressure, we pretend we're not in pain. Denying depression, a newfound obsession of keeping expression at bay. While these gender percentage of predators make you forget that we too are the prey. I've seen more men fuck their lives up than admit they're not okay.
I've never played Lego, but I've learned to construct stories using the 26 letters from the alphabets, and without adult supervision, I think I figured it out. Hopelessness comes from the inability to express yourself. So can you imagine how hopeless I felt when I didn't know how to read or write? When my world was limited and my imagination existed in small proportion, and when no one took the time to encourage or remind me that I am more than my perceptions and that no dream was ever too small and I should value my thoughts often because it is an investment of future outcomes. I envied every person I've met who showed me a diary they kept growing up. I despised them secretly because I wanted their memorable childhood and how bright the future looks as they become the grown-ups they've always wanted to be. While I'm left drowning in the sea of options, trying to make something of myself, but I didn't know how to construct, so I longed to read and wish nights after the other, reminding myself not to wait on a shooting star, but to wish on the brightest one I see. Just to be able to read. I was once the piece that never fitted the puzzle. Looked at and quickly overlooked. Instead, I chose to blame no one because if something were to change, it had to be me. I've never played with Lego, but I've learned to construct stories using the 26 letters from the alphabets, and I think I've figured it out. When you get told to put away childish things, there are 26 letters from the alphabets. Pick a board, but don't become the piece, be the puzzle.